Hi everyone, and welcome to Fire Mountain Gems and Beads Jewelry Making Studio. And we have another project for you. I hope you subscribe to these wonderful things. We're always presenting great ideas about new products, new projects, and today it's Rhodochrosite. Such a gorgeous stone. Look at this one. This comes in a graduated strand. It's this beautiful pink color. It's fairly soft on like 3.5 on the Mohs scale of hardness, but so lovely. And this stone is often associated with the heart chakra. So people who believe in the metaphysical properties of stones know that this is great for your heart, both for romance and love, and also to do things like regulate your heart rhythm. But today we're going to make a project with this, and we're going to make this lovely necklace using that graduated strand I just showed you. But I'm going to start the whole project off with my favorite stringing material, which is Accu-Flex. And I'm using this Dijon gold color. It's really 49 strands of stainless steel, but it's covered with a nylon coating that gives it this great color. And this is a good substitute for real gold. So I'm going to use the Dijon gold. And this whole project starts with stringing on all these liquid gold. Those are individual beads, if you can't tell that yet or not. They are little tiny guys, so be prepared. I like to pick up a pinch of them at a time and then string them on as I go. Hopefully you have good light and good eyes. And I'm actually going to string 42 of them to make that necklace just like the other one I showed you. I don't think you want to watch me string 42 of this liquid gold. So we will cut away and come back to show you what it looks like when we're a little further along. It goes faster than you think. There's about 8 of them right there. So you can see it moves along really quickly. Let me show you what it looks like when it's more done. Okay, so I've got my 42 little liquid gold. And I'm going to put on this 2mm bead. Can you see that? That's just a little baby. 2mm. And by the way, I am using gold filled this time. Most of the time I use the plated metals, but I like this gold filled because I'm using a very fine quality stone. And then I add a rhodochrosite. Another little 2mm bead. And these do have tiny holes, so get those good glasses on. Little tiny gold beads, but they just add a certain sort of elegance to the whole design, I feel. Okay, again, you don't want to watch me string all these little beads, so let's skip ahead. The necklace is almost complete. I've strung all the gold-filled beads. I've strung all the rhodochrosite with their little round beads. And I've strung most of this liquid gold already. I need a couple more so that they'll be the same on both sides. There we go. Add a couple more of these. And now it's time for the finishing. And what I'll do is the basic way we usually end stringing types of projects with a crimp bead. Again, I am using gold filled. Put on the crimp bead, and then I'm going to use a gold-filled Accu-Guard. It's this little horseshoe-shaped little guy that protects your Accu-Flex on the end to keep it from abrading. It makes your project last longer, and it's a nice, attractive way to finish a design. So I go through one side of the horseshoe, pull that through a ways, and go through the other side of the horseshoe, and then go through the crimp bead. Then I pull all of this tight. Sometimes I have to bend my horseshoe in a little bit. There we go. Pull all that tight and nice. Get my crimping pliers. And we have lots of tutorials at firemountaingems.com on how to use tools like crimping pliers. And we have lots of videos. So if you don't catch it from this video, make sure you go to firemountaingems.com and get all those other techniques you can learn about. Okay, I'm going to crush this crimp bead in the second notch of these crimping pliers, which makes it sort of a smile sort of shape. And give it a little crush like that. Hopefully the two wires are in the two corners of the smile. That's what you want. Then I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm going to fold it in half by putting it in the notch closest to the tip, and fold that crimp in half. Voila, and this is super secure, really nice. And then over the top of that, I like to put a crimp cover. Again, gold filled. These little guys are like a bead that's been split in half. And when you close that bead, close that gap, then it looks like just a bead covering up that crimp, because in general, crimps are not really attractive. And this is a beautiful necklace. I want to give it the best finish I can. Oh, one other thing I want to do. Also, you see this little tail here? Oh my goodness, when that's on the back of your neck, it can really tickle your neck. It'll drive you crazy. So I would normally tuck that tail into my beads. These beads are so small, I can't put that extra tail in there. So I'm actually going to trim it off right at the edge of the crimp bead. So I'm going to trim that really close, making sure I trim the right thread. Frequently, well, not frequently, occasionally I have been known to trim the wrong thread. Won't do that today. Put the crimp cover over the top of that crimp. I don't know if you can see it there. And then I like to use some chain nose pliers to squeeze that closed. Now you see, you can still see the little crack in there. And so I sort of massage it. Give it a little tweak here and there. Take your time. It's gold filled. It's very soft, until it's pretty much a seamless bead that nobody will notice that it's a crimp cover and not just a bead. Same thing on the other side. Now I want to move all these beads down. And always be careful when you're crimping that you don't make it too tight. If you make your crimps too tight, then it's sort of, the whole necklace buckles and doesn't flow. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side. A crimp bead, an Accu-Guard, one side and the other side. Back through that crimp bead. And again, normally this tail would go into these beads. It won't fit. So I'm going to pull that quite tight. I'm actually going to squeeze that little horseshoe in a little bit. There we go. So I can get it nice and tight, but not too tight. So I'm making sure I leave an arch in here so it won't get too tight. And I'll put that into the second notch. Give it a squeeze. Rotate it sideways. Go into the notch closest to the tip. Give it another squeeze. Trim off this excess Accu-Flex. Trim it right at the edge. I got the right one. Put on the crimp cover. Massage it shut. Gentle squeezes. This is not a manhandling necklace. This is just a little bit of gentle touches. Did you know that Rhodochrosite is one of the symbols of Argentina? Maybe that explains the Argentinian tango. And there we have a necklace. All we need to do is add the clasp. So I'll use a jump ring. And my pliers to twist open the jump ring. And a beautiful gold-filled lobster claw clasp. And twist it closed. And then I put one more jump ring on the other side to attach the lobster claw to. There we go. Rhodochrosite, a stone of love for you or your loved one. So we've got this beautiful necklace. Let's check out the earrings that go with it. So what we did was, because we have that graduated strand, we've got plenty of beads left over. So let's just use a couple of the smaller beads to make the earrings. Let's see, I want 2 that match. Those look pretty good. After all, these are hand cut, and so they're not going to be exactly and perfect, which is probably better in the long run because that makes them more natural and individual. If you are one of the practitioners of metaphysical healing, you want natural stones. You don't want dyed or fake in any way. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this is take a gold-filled head pin. If you don't know what a head pin is, that's pretty obvious, except it's not pokey like the ones you use in sewing. Put on the rhodochrosite. I'm going to put on one of those little 2mm beads, tiny little 2mm bead right on there. Ta-da! And then I'm going to make a simple loop. Simple loops are, as I say, very simple. Just make a 90-degree bend. And again, we have great tutorials at firemountaingems.com on how to do things like simple loops, wrapped loops, all kinds of metal spirals and whirligigs. So please make sure you go to firemountaingems.com if you don't know how to do any of these techniques, and learn how. We'll be happy to teach you. So I made that 90-degree bend. I'm going to cut this off at about 6mm. Cut that off. And then I take my round nose pliers and I grip the very tip of that. And I roll it backwards. Then I change positions of my pliers, put the lower jaw in, and roll it back the rest of the way to make a simple loop. And sometimes I'll take my flat nose pliers just to tweak that a little bit. The ideal is to make a round tip at the end and not a teardrop or 9. That's a little bit 9-ish, but I'll live with it. And then, easy enough, I take a little piece of chain and I attach that rhodochrosite drop. Just like opening a jump ring, I twist open that little eye, put on the chain, twist that one shut, and then I can cut the chain at the length I want. I want it dainty, but not too dainty. Long is kind of in trend, but I have a short neck, so I'm going to cut it right there. And for the second earring, you could make the second one the same length or a different length. Mismatched earrings is very popular right now, so don't feel weird if you want to go with a different length. And then I've got an ear wire. This is a lever-backed ear wire in gold filled. And it has an open loop here. It's hard to see, but hopefully when I give this a twist, it's going to open up. Oh, there it is. It's on the bottom. So can you see that there's a loop open there? And that's where I'm going to put the other end of my chain. And twist it shut. And there you have an earring. And here's our second bead. We'll make the second earring. But you can see, do the same thing again. A bead, a head pin, a tiny gold bead, make a simple loop, add the chain, add the ear wire. And that's all there is to it. I hope you join us at firemountaingems.com and to see all the other techniques and tricks that we can show you, and also all the great stones. My name is Rose. Happy beading.